Okay, so in the Europa League today we have a clash between respectively the only English team and the only Ukrainian team left in the competition, Everton versus Dynamo Kyiv. So we're looking at Everton currently 14th in the Premier League, which is quite surprising for a team that's still left in the Europa League to be that lower position in their league. And then we're looking at a real on-form Dynamo Kyiv, 7 points clear of the Ukrainian Premier League and in very good form. So the first thing we're going to look at is away form for Dynamo Kyiv, as they will be playing away. They've got a long distance to travel. They've got to go all the way to Goodison Park in England, which Ukraine, England, long distance to travel. So maybe that may make an impact in the game. But in terms of away form, they have very strong away form in their league. But that doesn't seem to have applied too much to the Europa League. They suffered a 2-1 loss to Guingamp, the French team. They also suffered a loss to AAB in the Europa League as well. So 2 losses in the Europa League in this competition so far away. On the other hand, though, Everton's home form hasn't been brilliant either. They've suffered lots of draws. They've dropped a lot of points. Their last home win was against Young Boys, and to be honest, their performances against Young Boys was very impressive. You got to take into account they're the best team in Switzerland, or one of the best teams in Switzerland. So, taking that into account, their performances were really impressive. 3-1 win against Young Boys, very comfortable. Lukaku played extremely well. He got a hat-trick, I believe, in one of them and a brace in the other. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but so yeah, Everton really on form in the Europa League, but in the Premier League, it's, I definitely think that Martinez is under a lot of pressure considering their performances in the league so far, and he's going to be under pressure to win this one. Because, to be honest, if you look at what Everton were like a couple of seasons ago, or even last season, this is a complete change. And it's a bit shocking, to be honest, that they're this low in the league table. And they should really finish higher. At least in the top half, at least. Preferably should have been challenging for Europe when you looked at them at the start of the season. But anyway, so they drew 2 to Leicester City, who are currently bottom. 0-0 draw to Liverpool, 0-0 draw to West Brom, 1-1 draw to Man City. That's their current home form, excluding that 3-1 win against Young Boys. So when we look at the form table, looking at form, Everton are currently the 19th. They're second to bottom in terms of form, 3 points from their last 6 games, which is appalling. On the other hand, Dynamo Kyiv, and you've got to take into account, though, that the Ukrainian league is, it's definitely nowhere near the standard of the Premier League, but at the same time, it's not a weak league either. Shakhtar Donetsk, they did get annihilated by Munich yesterday, but in all honesty, they have got teams to the knockout stages of the Champions League, which in itself is an achievement when you look at Ukraine, and Shakhtar Donetsk and Kyiv have good history as well with getting relatively far in the Champions League. So anyway, when we're looking at Dynamo Kyiv's home form, they've taken 16 points from their last 6 games. So this is going to be a team with really high morale against an Everton with a lot lower morale, which I think may have an impact, to be honest. But I believe this is going to be a low-scoring game. When you look at the tip, when you're looking for tips in this game, I would say under 2.5. Dynamo Kyiv, they're going to be playing with a solid defensive line. I don't think that they're going to go for too many goals. And I can see this is definitely going to be a low-scoring game, in my opinion. When you look at Everton, they're not known to be a goal-scoring team. They seem to be struggling when it comes to goals. For this reason, I think that due to the pressure that Everton need to win this, they're going to get a result. And I think a draw, no bet. So a draw, a home or draw bet for this, even though the odds would be low, that would be a relatively safe bet because you really can't trust Everton in the inconsistency they have right now. And to be honest, I can see this being either a draw or even a Kyiv win. even though I say the draw no bet for Everton, it could be possible to do a good bet on Kyiv to get results here, because I'm looking at this, and even though they did dispatch Young Boys, I'm doubtful over what they're going to do here. Kyiv are a stronger team than Young Boys, there's no doubt about that. And I can see this, like I said, it could go either way, to be honest, but if I would do a draw no bet on either way, I wouldn't outrightly bet on one team, or I may do a handicap. I think a +2 handicap for Dynamo Kyiv would probably have some good odds as well. But in conclusion, it could go either way, and probably best to do handicaps or a draw no bet, whichever way you fancy, to be honest. But I feel Dynamo Kyiv have a good advantage. It's just whether their away form and travelling all that way, how that's going to impact things. So tune in for more, guys, and like I said, subscribe for more tips and predictions for the games. I'm going to be doing all the Premier League games, all the Championship games, going to be doing individual predictions. So that's it. If you're an Everton fan, tune in for that. Peace out.